Alright? I'm going to start off by saying, Call Halalim Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Waha, Kadash, Raha, Wabarakatah. Of course, giving double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my brothers out there, the hopeful elect. It's your little brother here, Shamar Shawan, coming at you with another video. Now, yesterday, I made a video talking about the whole Taliban situation and how the Ishmael is slowly taking over Afghanistan, which really they're all Ishmaelites. Those Persians, which I did say, I believe in the last video, I said the Persians there were a part of them. The Persians were is Persians and Ishmaelites mainly. All right, I was wrong on that because when you go back to the history, the Babylonians, the ancient Babylonians were Cushites. Nimrod was a Cushite or so-called Ethiopian, if I'm pretty sure of. And those ancient Babylonians, those ancient Persians, those guys were wiped out. All right, those guys are gone. What you got now is a bunch of Ishmaelites. These guys are all Ishmaelites. These are not the original Babylonian Empire. Those guys more than likely got pushed right back into Africa. Okay, same with Egypt. Okay, Egypt. When Rome came down to go take over Egypt, the original Egyptians, the original Hamites that were down there, Mizraim, those guys aren't there no more. You know, those guys were gone. Okay, those guys got pushed back into the Sudan, where Manute Bol is from, because the Egyptians were, I was told to have a very great height, but I kind of went off on a tangent. Forgive me. And I actually want to do one more correction. Now, back then in the other video, I did say about women, and Genesis chapter 2, and I just saw the breakdown of this today. I said Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, help me for him. Yeah, this is mainly going to those animals. Okay, but the animals didn't accomplish being that helpmeet for Adam. So the Most High Yahweh created, the Most High Yahweh and his angels created the woman. All right, he just brought him a woman from his own tribe. That's why it says the bone of my bone. The whole rib thing is parabolic. All right, which I kind of screwed that up on the last video, so Salakia. But it is what it is. So this video here, Taliban fighters. So I don't get kicked off. This is from CNN World, okay? So they better not kick me off or take down my page and shit. Okay, CNN World, Taliban fighters execute 22 Afghan commandos as they try to surrender.
CNN's Anna Koren is in Kabul with new evidence of the Taliban's atrocities. We want to warn our viewers, what you're about to watch is disturbing.
After over 2 hours of heavy fighting, all ammunition spent, Afghan commandos walk out with hands in the air. Surrender, commandos, surrender, yells a Taliban member. But the rules of war don't exist on this battlefield. Seconds later, more than a dozen members of the elite special forces have been executed.
I don't know, that looks kind of fishy. The way he put his phone down when they got shot dead, I think that's a little fishy. I mean, tampering with the news is nothing new. You know, it's possible that these guys aren't even dead, but who knows? Who knows? This could be a whole narrative. Well, it is a whole narrative. We know that for a fact because in the last video, the whole narrative is that, the narrative that the U.S. is pushing is that they won't take over, but then, other news sources, probably most likely conservative news, is showing, it is kind of likely they are kind of starting to take over. So it's just this whole thing is a big game. Personally, what I think now that I'm looking at it again, I think that they got some private military companies down here, and they're helping the Taliban take over. You know, it's really not difficult for them to get mercs, and you know, ex-military and I don't want to say paramilitary, but ex-military soldiers, and then you know, elite special forces, elite you know, I don't want to say special forces either, more like elite mercs and elite hitmen, and just putting them on a fucking turban on them, and then now the Taliban. It's really not that difficult. It's very possible.
The Red Cross confirmed the bodies of 22 commandos were retrieved. A villager pleads with the Taliban to stop shooting.
Okay, maybe real. Now, I mean, it can still be doctored, but you know, that shit looks real.
Asking, how are you Pashtun and you're killing Afghans? CNN has spoken to 5 eyewitnesses to this massacre, which occurred last month in Jalalabad, a district of Faryab province in northern Afghanistan. All confirm these events took place. The commandos called for air and ground support, but none came, says this local resident. Then they surrendered, but the Taliban just shot them. Among the dead...
When you read the article talks about that there was no ground support there. That when the U.S. left, they lost a lot of air support and planes and the like. So they've been left out.
32-year-old commando Sohrab Azimi, the son of a retired Afghan general. This born leader did his military training in the United States and was due to marry his American fiancée next month. His father said Sohrab tried to call in air support during the attack, but it never came. Anyone would be angry if that happened to their son, he tells me. Why didn't they support the operation? And why did someone tell the Taliban they were coming? Ever since the US announced its withdrawal, an emboldened Taliban has launched offensives across the country. The militants have gone to great lengths to show they're accepting the surrender of Afghan troops. But that PR effort is contradicted by the commando execution. A week before the massacre...
Yeah, they're not telling us everything. Now, of course, what does news do? And I showed you that with the whole Al Jazeera thing. On that whole panel of people talking... not one of those guys came from the Taliban themselves, so they're spinning this whole thing. It's very likely that those guys did something. You know, like soldiers aren't gonna just up and kill somebody then accept surrenders anyway. Like those group of guys could have did something. They could have tried something. We really don't know, and they didn't exactly show the rest of the video. So the guys could have tried to pull a gun or try to pull a bomb or do something, but we really don't know. You know.
This video was taken of Afghan special forces in the same district attempting a clearing operation. When that mission proved unsuccessful, Sohrab's unit was called in. The Taliban said when foreigners leave, they will stop fighting and make peace. How long will they continue killing our brothers in this country? Eyewitnesses say they did not understand the language spoken by the militants. Evidence the fighters weren't local or that some may have come from outside Afghanistan.
Oh, shit. What did I just say, bro? I said something's a little fishy, man. I said... What the fuck did I say, man? Those guys could be mercs. They could be foreign hitmen. You know, it sounds like they speak some sort of Semitic language. Because these guys are Semites. Same as us. Right? But, you know, these guys, it's very possible. It's very possible these guys could be mercs. It's really not hard, you know, to kind of doctor it to make it look like they're Taliban.
And just last week, the Red Cross says it collected at least 24 more bodies of Afghan commandos from Faryab, the result of new fighting. US President Biden says he believes in the capability of the Afghan forces despite...
Yeah, my point still stands, though. They're not telling us everything. All right, fucking dickheads.
The mass casualties. But when US-trained soldiers like the commandos are dying in such high numbers, many people in this traumatized country are questioning if the military can defeat the Taliban on its own. These young Afghan warriors, stretched thin and dying at an alarming rate, are now the last line of national defence. Without US troop support or intelligence, they alone are fighting for this country's survival. Now, Jake, we contacted the Taliban to get their response to this execution video. They said the footage was fake, that it was fabricated, and that it was government propaganda. They're in complete denial that these war crimes...
Yeah, you know, I know I kind of went back and flip-flopping, but, you know, that thing does look kind of... It looks funny. It looks funny, in my opinion. You know, same thing with the whole... Floyd thing, the video cutting out at certain points, it almost like a fucking movie, man. Like they did something to that shit. All right, they did something to that shit. All right, so you know this is the one scripture that I really want. Matthew chapter 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against kingdom, and kingdom against kingdom. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. You know, this is from the disciples, you know, who asks, what are the times of the end time? What are going to be the signs of the coming of Yahushua, of the coming again of Yahushua, and of the end of the world? You know, and here we got it, you know. And people say, oh, people have been fighting forever. But, you know, not to the same level. Not to the same level. Alright, so this is all I wanted to hit on. You know, just a follow-up to the other video. You know, it's kind of the spirit that led me to find this video here. Yeah, that's all I got. To be continued. Shalom.